So we have Mr. Darryl King, and Darryl is going to be talking to us about Realtors' roadmap to success in 2020 crisis. A little bit of housekeeping. Whatever questions you have regarding tonight's webinar, please post your questions on urock365.com. And if it is related to real estate, you can go to the website urock365.com and post your questions. If it is related to real estate, you can click on the black button, pre-construction on the red button, or if it's just realtors in question, then click on the blue button. So these are the questions that you can post on the website. We want to thank our sponsors, Mr. Pat Javdan, broker of record of United Realty of Canada, for making this webinar series accessible to us, and Dr. Alexa Hanchin, General Manager of United Realty of Canada. We also want to thank another sponsor of ours, Mr. Douglas Gray. He is the author of What the Financial Institutions Are Not Telling You. So if you want a copy of this book, you can go to the United Realty of Canada's website and register there, and then we can mail you the book.
Nice.
And I want to talk a little bit about Mr. Darryl King. Mr. Darryl King, he's been in the real estate business for more than 30 years, and he is one of the top realtors in Toronto and the York region. He is very passionate about real estate and helping his clients, both buyers and sellers. And of course, you can see a lot of his listings all across the GTA. So I want to give the microphone to Pat, and Pat can start the interview with Pat, you can start the interview with Darryl King right now. Go ahead, Pat.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jerry. I hope everybody's safe and healthy and positive these days. And before I start, I'd like to mention those people, those realtors or people who have not seen our previous webinars and training. They can go to FinPlus 365 TV on YouTube channel, or you can go to my YouTube channel, Pat Javdan YouTube, or you can go to United Realty of Canada YouTube channel, or you can go to our social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. They can see previous sessions. Now, also we have Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. And next Wednesday, we're gonna have Mr. Colin Sprague, that he's a very good motivational speaker. That's gonna be our guest next Wednesday. So he has a 6 days plan how to survive and thrive in this crisis. Now, unfortunately, Al Sinclair couldn't make it tonight. So he was also a guest for tonight. He couldn't make it. And but also I asked Mr. Taraz, he's a chartered professional accountant. I don't know if he's here or not. So he's gonna, if tonight, a little bit maybe talk about this new benefit that governments offer to people, or if he's not tonight, he's not here tonight, Friday, definitely he's gonna come and explain all details how people can apply. Realtors, self-employed, business owners, and they can use this information. Now again, thank you, Darryl. You accepted our invitation, so we can pick your brain today, and so everybody can survive and thrive in this terrible condition crisis. So my first question is, what is your view of a state of real estate market in general these days?
Well, Pat, it's going to be a little unsettling for a while because, I worked through SARS in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
Now, SARS was the worst pandemic or real big virus that we had, and that was worldwide. But, in comparison to COVID-19, it was a much smaller, I remember, the epidemic center here was at the Grace Hospital out in Scarborough. And I had a lot of my clients who were doctors and nurses that work in there at that time. And it was very frightening at that time going through, I think it was about 700 deaths.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take that into comparison to what is happening now worldwide, it is just unbelievable that something of this magnitude, in all of our lifetimes, none of us experienced this. You had the Great Depression, you had the financial crashes, you had so many other things before this, but nothing of this magnitude. So really right now we're all pioneers. And everybody can prove to be an expert. And I had someone I was doing a thing on the statistics from March of 2020 to March of 2019, and the guy goes on there and he was an ex-realtor only for a couple of years and some other things, whatever. And he says, oh, that's a bunch of bull, or whatever the case might be. And so, sometimes I might ignore those things, but this was on my LinkedIn, and I responded back with, I said, listen, he said, because I said, well, we're just in the middle, but that was in the middle of the month. So the first 2 weeks of March were really not, a little bit COVID. The back 2 weeks were more COVID affected. So the first 2 weeks, January and February, were on fire in the real estate market. The next 2 weeks of March were still very active. And the last 2 weeks of March were active, but showings have dropped by at least 50%. So, there's still sales. There's still sales to this moment. So I said to this gentleman, I said, if you're going to comment, if you have some facts that you care to share with us, I'd be happy for you to share it with us, and we'll share it with everybody else. But you're just talking a bunch of nonsense. So the first thing I would tell anybody here or anywhere is to be careful on who you're going to listen to, because there's a lot of doomsayers out there, and they're going to say, oh yeah, we said this was coming and the market is going to crash. And there is going to be lots of uncertainties. There's going to be a lot of challenges. Is it going to be easy? No. But if everybody works together versus against each other, we can get through this market. And you got to realize that's why the government made us essential. Real estate is one of the most essential things that you're going to deal with. I've been doing this 35 years. I've sold over 10,000 families a home. So I'm not quite a rookie at this. So, do I know everything? No, I don't claim to know everything, but I do have ideas. I do have thoughts. I speak to a lot of people that are very influential and what's going on. And so, the main thing right now, what I would tell anybody is to remain calm. I mean, your anxiety and your stress levels are not going to help you. They're not going to help your family. They're not going to help your coworkers. They're not going to help your clients. It's just going to cause more chaos. So it has to start from within. The most important thing that you can do right now is you have to be positive. You have to be inspiring. You have to be caring. You have to be kind. Most people's stress levels are fairly high right now. So, people are say locked up at home, but I mean, there's worse places you could be locked up. You could be locked up in jail. Some of these other places that are even worse than that. So, we have a roof over our head. We've got running water. We do have some food still. So for the most part, things are still good. We just have to be very cautious. We've got to cut the curve. That's why the government is really cracking down, that, trying to keep people from wandering all over the place freely. In some parts of China already, I was seeing something earlier today, and I just about now, Apple has opened up 32 stores in China already, and they're back full back to work. A lot of businesses are back to work, and a lot of the countries in China, they're allowed out still, and they can go out there, and they're not allowed big groups as opposed, what I thought anyway, because it was only like in Shanghai, Beijing, and that it's only supposed to be 5 people, and you go through a heat monitor just to check you out. But I was looking on something today on the news, and they had this tourist place with this mountain, 20,000 people. There had to have been 50,000 people at this place. It was just totally bedlam. Shots in Hong Kong. I mean, they stopped all foreigners from flying into Hong Kong today. But in the nice shopping areas of Hong Kong, they were packed with people. So the people already, they were ahead of the curve where we were at. So, the duration for this, I'm figuring is probably 2 months minimum, and it may be longer. There's no real time limit to how long this is going to last. It's a guessing game, but the government is trying to, impose everybody off streets. They closed off the lakeshore where there's thousands of people that go walking around there, in this nice weather. So they're not going to be allowed to go walk in big groups and stuff. So, things will change, but, interest rates are become very, very low. The mortgage stress rules that they've lightened up, and now they're trying to. The investors are coming back out into the marketplace and looking for things. So there's still someone has to buy, still someone has to sell. Will it be business as usual? No, it's not going to be business as usual. It'll be anything. Hi, Alex. How are you? Alex.
I don't think he can hear you.
Okay. So anyway, it's not business as usual. This is going to be the new form of real estate. And basically, we need to adjust. If we don't change, everything else is going to change around us. So, we're doing the Zoom, Pat, we've never done a Zoom thing together. So now, you've called me up in short notice and I filled in, and we're doing.
Thank you, by the way. Thank you.
That's okay. You know what? I'm always got something to say. So it's I can always speak. So, coming with Zoom. So this has already changed already. All around, all our Remax Hallmark meetings, all Zoom. My office meetings, all Zoom right now. Tomorrow I'll have a Zoom meeting at 10 o'clock with my team, So, there's many other things besides Zoom. There's Google, there's Messenger, there's BombBomb. I mean, so this is probably what we know of as the most inexpensive. And I was watching something on the news, and you just, I guess, really have to watch security, and I know Zoom is working on that to make sure you don't get people just bombing in there and bombing you on your Zoom thing, and I guess passwords, whatever. I took a picture of it this morning, and I got to write it down later on and see exactly what those are. So, so yeah, there's going to be a fair amount of changes, and we need to be prepared and really adapt fairly quickly with the changes.
Thank you so much. Darryl, this crisis, how has affected your team, your daily routine? Because you're very successful. We're going to learn from you how that's affected your team.
Well, it's I would say it's affected it dramatically, Pat, because, 2 weeks ago, I ordered all my team not to come into the office anymore. So basically, the office is shut down. So I'm there every day. I'm there with my personal assistant and one of the other girls on the front desk. And we're, we have a marketing person that's still working also full time that, that's doing it from home and that. So, from having, 60 or 70 people into an office, we're down to 3. So, it's a very drastic change. I go there from 9 o'clock to 5:30 every single day. And, I'm trying to handle the clients because there's a lot of things coming up with closings and changes and different things. I had a lady that I sold the house back in January. I sold it for around $70,000 over asking price in 3 days. So unfortunately, she went on a holiday to Cuba. Had nothing to do with COVID-19, but I guess some accident happened there. She's supposed to close today. So the lawyer said, no, we can't close. We need to wait to probate, because if the guys closed today, they couldn't get title insurance. And if someone came back, they would have to look after it. So needless to say, the buyers want to move in there today. They would have extended 1 week only, but they want to get in immediately and 1 week extension. So, we had to release them out of the offer. There was no other option. So it's going back onto the market on Wednesday, right? And will I get multiple offers there? We'll see. I believe I will. I mean, I sold it for $1,065,000. I'm going to put it at $1,099,000 right now because from January to April, the market went up quite a bit at that point in time. Now, you know, the prices may slide a bit, but I had another one I listed the other day. I listed it at 1.258, and it sold with 3 offers, and there was, I think, more coming in for 42,000 over for 1.3 firm, no conditions. So, you know, another one we sold 32,000 over in 4 or 5 days, which was at a highest price. So, you know, there's a lack of inventory on the market right now. So if you have a good listing and if it's priced correctly, and you have a good virtual tour or, you know, Matterport, something good that, you know, walk through, whatever, that people come through, because my listings now pretty much, not all of them, but most of them have gone to virtual. We still have a few clients that are allowing showings, but they got to go through very strict guidelines to get into these properties. So, you know, they have to go through the virtual tours, the feature sheet, and you know, they still got to be interested. They got to make sure they haven't traveled in 2 weeks. They have to make sure they haven't got any cough, cold, or flu, or been around anybody with any of these symptoms. So I had one of my agents send something to me today from one of the other brokers, and they want to go see this horse farm. So the broker wanted to know all the name, and I said, well, they can't give you the name. That's under the Privacy Act. We're not going to give you the name of the people. So they want us to sign a COVID-19 release form that, you know, so I looked over the form, and actually my forms that we have are a little more strict than that. If you want them, I can send them to you tomorrow, Pat.
Thanks.
So anyway, anyway, we're pretty much stopping all showings regardless, so it'll be irrelevant. But anyway, so people are taking stricter and stricter measures. Like, you know, a lot of the condos downtown, you can't even come into them anymore, right? So, you know, and here's what the buyers are going to have to adapt to. You know, you buy a new condo. Do you see that condo? No. It's a paper. You know, you buy a new house. It's a paper. Hi there. So what happens is that people will adapt and train themselves that they'll have to buy virtual. Listen, for condos, the building's there and they can go see whatever. But for houses, if people want to drive by and look around, and you could even ask the seller if you mind them walking around the outside, you know, they may let them walk around outside, you know, but it will change and people will adapt to that. So we're used to one way of doing business, and that's, you know, maybe they came to open houses, they made appointments. Now it's going to be done differently. We'll adapt.
Yeah, Darryl, many buyers and many sellers are confused right now. What suggestion do you have for them, for sellers, what they should do, or buyers at this time?
Here's what I would say, Pat. You know, if you don't have to sell, maybe I might wait, you know. But again, you know, you might want to sell. I mean, there's going to be certain buyers that have to sell, and there's going to be certain buyers that want to buy. And, you know, if you're just looking for a needle in a haystack, I would probably tell you maybe to wait. But, you know, you think of the lack of inventory that's on the market today, and, you know, if you're a seller, I'm thinking, okay, I'm not going to have as many buyers, but the buyers that I have are going to be very, very serious also. So, you know, it's still going to hold the price up. Like, interest rates are like really at an all-time low. You know, the mortgage stress rules have slackened off substantially. So, you know, they're getting divorced, they're losing their, you know, some people have lost their jobs, someone's died. I mean, there's many reasons. You know, I just had one, the people are from Sarnia, and the guy's sister died. It had nothing, again, to do with COVID-19. She's just an older woman. I guess she fell in the house, banged her head, and she died in the house. So, you know, I had my contractor go, came from Sarnia. My contractor went and met them. They're going to do some work in the house. We'll put that on the market. So there is people that have to sell. So sell. And then there's people that, hey, I have a smaller house. I need to get a bigger house. I'm having more kids or more families coming in. So go buy, right? Just take very, very strong precautions. Like I said, today we can pretty much do it virtually. And if you're not doing it virtually, you're not being safe to your clients and you're not being safe to yourself and everybody else. So, just learn to adapt.
Many realtors, they don't have a team. They don't have a, database. They don't have, they are new or they're new in the business. And all the time they're asking, what should I do? How do I do it? I want to work with this situation. Tell me, how can I work in this situation? What suggestion do you have for those realtors?
Well, the difference is today, even with myself, like this is, spring market typically. And I'm a fairly aggressive team. Myself is aggressive. My team is aggressive, but I'm not allowing any of us to be aggressive. Right now, my first and foremost is to look after my clients that have to close their house. So we're working on that continuously to make sure that they can follow up with closing their house and maintaining that. We have other clients that are on the market, so we got to make sure that, we're still marketing their house. So we're making sure we're doing lots of digital marketing stuff for them. And really, I'm changing, a lot of my advertising marketing. It's not, it's, if you have questions or concerns about COVID-19, call us. We'd be happy to help you out. If you have to sell your house, we'd be happy to help you out. You need to purchase, we'd be happy to help you out. So we've taken away that real aggressive salesy thing, because to me, it's, we can't, the Rico and Treb has outlawed us from doing open houses. And I say, thank God to that, right? You're not allowed to go door knocking, like my guys would be out hitting a whole subdivision door knocking. So, we're not going to be able to do that right now. So we've got to look for different ways and different means that, so what I suggest is everybody knows somebody. So really come from helping somebody, right? I just had posted this just a little bit before my meeting. Let me just see what this says on my post. Because if anyone follows me on Facebook, helping others, encouraging others are often acts of kindness that have meaning that you may not realize. So let's get into the habit of helping others. Encouragement, kindness, seeing what you can do. A call, a text, an email, whatever it may take to help someone. We're all in this together. So I'm no different than anybody else that's here. Trust me. I have an older single mother that's 83, right? She's on her own. I have a brother with, his family and their families and their families, right? I have a sister with her families, and then I have relatives, and I have all my coworkers and my employees, right? So I'm no different than anybody else. I'm the same. I'm going to bleed. I'm going to hurt. I'm going to be in pain. I have sorrow. So you have to come from empathy. And we have to get real. We don't know how long this is going to last. I try and pick up supplies for different people, and, I don't take them in their door, but I'll go pick certain things up if I can get them and go deliver them to someone's house or whatever. So, lots of times when I talk to people, I ask them, how I can help you, more importantly, not how they can help me, how I can help them, right? What do they need from me? And, I still let them know I'm involved in real estate. Right. I mean, most people know who I am. So, but I'm not asking for the business. If they need help with it, I'm going to be there for them 100%. So you need to change your train of thought, and it's all about attitude, mindset, and how you treat people right now is going to be the biggest thing. This is a whole new beginning. I've been, when I started real estate, interest rates were 21%. My very first year in the business, which is I got licensed in June, so it was only basically a 6-month year. I sold 26 or 27 homes that year. Most agents would be lucky to sell 3. But because I had a mindset and I had a thinking of outside the box and being different than anybody else and knowing certain things, I was the top agent in the office and made the top 100 in the country. So, you know, what can you do now? You need to, you know, for someone new, they don't have the old habits like you and I would have. You know, people that have been in the business 5 and 10 years, we may have created bad habits. So these new people don't know any better. They don't have those bad habits. So this is their opportunity to be the next Darryl King or Pat or some other big agent out there. This is their opportunity. There's going to be a lot of changes, and a lot of people are going to come out a lot differently, right? Some people are going to have expansional growth. Some people are going to just run and hide. But, you know, this is not the time to run and hide. You know, if you go on and you see on my videos, I'm trying to be out there to give information or to help people. That's when you asked me if I want to come on and do this. I said, absolutely, right? You know, and it's, you know, tonight at 7:30. Well, you know, was that inconvenient for me? It doesn't matter. I made it important to me to share with anybody that's here. If I can just change one person's life and their thought process and make them a better person and help them to succeed or do something of kindness, then what you do in here, Pat, and all the sponsors and the manager, whoever is involved in this, then you've done the right thing. So it's doing the right thing and doing that for everybody, which is most important. If you think of others before you think of yourself, you're going to succeed. My father was my mentor, my coach. He was my everything. He died 4 or 5 years ago. And, you know, when I spoke with Tony Robbins, you know, when I did the Power of Success, that was just months after my father died. And we had 6,000 people there, and I had dedicated my talk towards my father. And, you know, I've always had a program for the royal treatment. So, you know, my last name being King, so that's an easy program for me to have. But it was always, you know, it was always treating others like family. So if you treat them well and give it your heart, give it your soul, and give it your best, they'll remember that. So the things that you do now, so for a new agent, yeah, maybe you're just gonna have to ride the storm out, but you may come out of the storm on a speedboat. You might not come out of it on a sailboat. You might come out in a speedboat, because you can learn the correct things and the positive things that are going to make you a winner. There's going to be a lot of people, you know, there's 55,000 agents in the Toronto Real Estate Board, Pat. We're going to lose a lot of them. So that's a good thing, because there's too many agents, and no disrespect to any agent. If you're working, you're committed and dedicated, you know, God bless you. You're out here to make a living and help people. A lot of people that shouldn't be involved in real estate. So we're going to weed a lot of those people out, Ralph. And in a lot of businesses, if they're not strong, unfortunately, they're going to be closing their doors. So, you know, I feel bad for an awful lot of people, because we look around, there's an awful lot of people that have lost their jobs. I had the lady that wanted to buy this property that I'm talking about. And I called her right away, and she said, unfortunately, and she's in the health business or something. I don't know exactly what it is. And I called her today, just a few hours ago, and I said, oh, you know what happened to your, because it's the neighbor of my client. I said, you know, you heard of what happened, you know, she died and whatever the case, we talked about it. And I said, well, I put it back onto the market on Wednesday, and if you want to, you know, put an offer in, you're more than welcome to put an offer in. And she'd love to, but unfortunately, she lost her job. She's laid off. And then she went on to tell me she may not get it back. So, you know, she may have to relocate somewhere else, she told me. Maybe not to where she lives now. She may have to relocate for another job. So there's going to be a lot of changes. And some is good and some is bad. You know, one of the things that I had here that is following what's going on, I would rather miss my family and friends for a few months than to never see them again. So, you know, stay at home. You know, I go to the office. I don't go anywhere else. The door's locked. A couple of my agents will drop in. There's an out box for them. they're not allowed in the office under any circumstance. Some
Mhm.
of the other office managers come by, they drop something in the inbox. They're not allowed.
Mhm.
The door is locked. The three of us are in there, so we have to take all the safety precautions that are available for all of us, right?
Yeah. Darryl, let me ask Jerry. Jerry, how long we have left?
We have another 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Oh, not so much. Darryl, thank you so much for your insight. That was very powerful. I really, really appreciate your thoughts. That was very positive and very caring. Can we ask you in future come to our webinar again?
Absolutely, Pat. My pleasure.
Thank you so much. Because Mr. Taraz is here, and he's going to give us a few minutes about this new benefits from government. Also, he's going to come back on Friday. So if it's okay, I'm going to ask Mr. Taraz, welcome him, and start his comments about this new benefit from government. Yeah.
Hi, everybody. First of all, I want to thank you, Darryl. It was very inspiring and very heartwarming for us in these tough situations.
Yeah, very tough situation for everybody, yes.
But for everybody. But let's get back to tax, who is another major issue for the people, individuals, self-employed, business owners, and everybody. So the government has introduced the package that called SERP, which is a Canada Beneficent Plan for all Canadians. So the issue is that it has started today, and people can benefit from this program effective today, and they have been scheduled this program for applying, filling out the application from today by the date of the birth. For the people who are in January, February, March, they could have applied today, and tomorrow the sequence goes on. Mm-hmm. So this is a very good program for now. I'm sure that it's not enough, but I believe that government did the best job that it could. So this program literally covers individuals, businesses, and industries. Mm-hmm. On Friday, we are going to go in details and talk about the Canada Emergency Response Plan. Also, we are going to talk about I'm going to give a detailed walkthrough of the 10% wage subsidy, also the 75% subsidy later introduced by the government. Mm-hmm. And we are going to talk about how to maximize the use of the wage subsidies for the employers, understanding the what's the meaning of this Canada emergency plan, and also update on deferred tax deadlines and deadlines for the payments. Mm-hmm. So today I'm not going to speak a lot. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to brief everybody that on Friday we really would have a very useful conversation about the Canada benefit plans and the subsidies that the government provided with a solid tax plan to maximize the use of these subsidies.
Thank you so much, Mr. Taraz.
You're welcome.
So I want to mention that we have Wednesday at 8 p.m. another interview, and also Friday with Mr. Taraz at 8 p.m. So Jerry, if you have any comments, we can finish this webinar.
Yes, we can definitely finish the webinars. I wanted everybody, Mr. Darryl King and Mr. Taraz, thank you very much for participating in this interview with us today. I want all the participants to know that this interview is recorded and we are going to post it live on the United Realty Canada website, urock365.com. If you have any questions, go to the website and post your questions over there, whether it is with real estate pre-construction or just real estate as realtors. Post your questions there and somebody from the office will respond back to you. So again, thank you very much. And